How's it going, guys? Dragonstar Production here, back with another what a video. And obviously you guys know what video we're doing. You guys voted on it in the community tab, and if you didn't vote, well, be sure to sub so that you're able to decide on the next video after this one. But I'm not going to waste your time. If you guys haven't seen the other parts, there will be a link below and above. With that said, let's get into what if Dragonstar was in Dragon Ball Part 7. Last time we left off with quite the events on Namek. Frieza was quite enraged after Goku dropped his spirit bomb on him, enough to where he would want his revenge, and he decided to take it by giving Gohan Krillin's fate in the canon story, which actually triggered something in Goku, but also myself, and to my shock, I turned into a Super Saiyan. However, at the moment, I wasn't focused on what I was in, I was focused on the evil tyrant that was in front of me.
What? No! This can't be. 2 Super Saiyans? No matter. I am the Emperor of the Universe, Lord Frieza! And I will not be defeated by some filthy monkey!
Frieza then dashes full speed at Goku. However, with the measly sidestep, Goku dodges Frieza, slamming his head straight into the ground. But when Frieza picks his head up, he's met by my foot, crashing into the front of his face. Frieza knew he was outmatched, but at this point, me and Goku was nearly on the same page. So we both told Frieza to go ahead and go full power. Frieza questions if we'd let him, but I cut the lizard off. Frieza, you don't get it, do you? Even if you go full power 100%, your worst nightmare is going to happen. It's impossible for things to go your way. You're going to be defeated by not 1, but 2 Super Saiyans.
Shut up! You two are nothing. Nothing! But you'll regret letting me go full power.
Frieza would then proceed to power up into his maximum form, as he was expecting to wipe through Goku and myself after doing so, but that wasn't gonna happen. When Frieza darted in, I grabbed him by the tail, swinging him towards Goku, as he would then slam Frieza into the dirt with an axe handle. Frieza picks himself up, wiping his mouth, once more blindly rushing into Goku, but the same thing repeats. Goku was able to dodge Frieza, as he then grabs Frieza by the hand, driving his knee right into his gut. Frieza drops to one knee, looking up at Goku.
I will not lose to a pair of monkeys! I refuse!
Frieza places his hands down on the ground, and he shoots off a blast down into Namek's core. I wasn't expecting this, but then I hear Frieza say,
You have 5 seconds before this planet explodes, as well as everyone on it. And don't worry about me. I'll survive.
It was at that moment that something inside of me just broke. It snapped. I then full speed dashed right at Frieza as I kick him in the head so hard that it caused an indentation into his skull as he goes flying, but I'm right behind him, slamming him into the ground, drowning with a flurry of fists just to pick him up as I throw him into the air. However, a room to breathe wasn't an option, so I powered up a new technique I've been working on. It starts to spiral in the palm of my hands as I then combine my hands as the ki all absorbs into one. You better hope your prediction on time's right, Frieza, because if it takes any longer than 5 seconds...
Shut up!
Be ready, Frieza, because this is the last 5 seconds that you'll be alive. And Frieza being Frieza, he tried to have the last word, he tried to talk his way out of it, but as soon as his mouth opened, I went and I launched my new ultimate attack, the May Breaker. Points for anybody if they can guess why it's called the May Breaker, down in the comments. I'll even send you a reward, just letting you know. The energy wave then spins towards Frieza at a super fast speed. So fast that there was no way of dodging the attack, so Frieza attempts to use his hands to block the attack, but that was the whole point of this attack.
This can't be.
When the energy ball touches Frieza's hands, the energy wave then explodes upon contact. The ki shoots off into 100 different amounts of spikes of energy as it drills Frieza, piercing him like needles, just to finish him off with a squeeze in my hand as a final explosion that creates a massive crater and an insane amount of smoke. But when it clears, Frieza was gone, and I dropped to my knees as Goku then screams out,
You didn't have to kill him!
You're right, Goku. I didn't have to. But with all the innocence that suffered by his hand, he didn't deserve to live another second. Goku once more tries to speak, but then I cut him off before he can say anything. Not everything is about a good fight, Goku. Sometimes it's important to drop what you think is right and do what actually is. After I say this to Goku, you can definitely feel the tension between myself and him. But the tension breaks once we both realize that we don't have long to evacuate the planet. Bulma has Kami's ship ready to go, so wanting her to leave as soon as possible, I tell her, Krillin, Dende, Piccolo, and Vegeta to all go back. That me and Goku would take the gravity ship and be back as fast as we could. Krillin was questioning why we should bring back Vegeta, and to be honest, I completely understand why they wouldn't want to, but I know what needs to happen. So, with having to come up with a reason on the fly, I just tell them about how Vegeta still has insight on Frieza's father, King Cold, and that'll be useful just in the case that he finds out about who killed Frieza, and Krillin can't really argue with that logic, and especially after I tell him that if anything goes rogue, it's not like me and Goku can't take out Vegeta. This gives me and Goku not very long at all to make it off of planet Namek and back to the gravity ship, but because it wasn't too far, I was pretty confident that we can make it there in time. We both had to rush there as we both make it into the ship as we then start the control pilot and launch. However, launching wasn't going to be so pleasant. Definitely wasn't Delta Airlines as the planet then begins to explode behind us. So we had parts of the ground, trees, and all different types of debris nailing the side of the ship. So I knew our path wasn't going to be directly to Earth on this one, mainly for the reason because I passed out. Same with Goku. And this is exactly when I tried my best to set the coordinates, but as soon as I touched the panel, Super Saiyan faded out, and I wasn't going to wake up until we crash landed on a planet that most definitely wasn't Earth. But we can't cover that just yet. Earth had some major changes occurring as well. Piccolo, upon arriving back, had immediately wanted to talk with Kami after seeing the power of Namek's Dragon Balls, and that they had to upgrade theirs, especially after explaining Namek and how they had some big casualties, those being Gohan and Raditz. Kami knew doing this wasn't going to be an easy task, but for him being as old as what he wasn't just the kicker, that it also takes a long time for upgrading the Dragon Balls, but Piccolo said that he figured as much. That's why he brought Dende. He's in the same clan as the Grand Elder and can become the new Guardian. As Kami's are taken aback by this, why would he step down? But Piccolo had a reason for that as well. Piccolo explains Frieza, an evil tyrant that they fought back on Namek, that he had a father that could very well be looking for them, so danger was definitely coming to Earth, and Piccolo believes fusing into the nameless Namekian would be the smartest choice to protect Earth. Kami is left with many thoughts, but ultimately he realizes that this day would eventually come. Kami turns to his friend Mr. Popo, and with a smile he hands Mr. Popo his staff, telling him, "It's time." He turns to Piccolo telling him that he's ready, as the two Namekians would then fuse into a whole being, as Krillin would then note after the fusion was done that his power had increased tremendously, even going as far as saying that Piccolo was as strong as Dragonstar and Goku after they became Super Saiyans, if not stronger. Piccolo though wasn't focused on purely how strong he was, just the task in hand. Piccolo and Mr. Popo begin talking to Dende about becoming Guardian of Earth and what it entails. Dende is more than willing to step up to the duties, however, and protect Earth since we were so willing to help him and protect his home planet of Namek. After 6 months, everything would work itself out. Between new Namek's Dragon Balls and Earth's Dragon Balls, Gohan, Raditz, and all the Namekians were brought back to life, and this also includes Namek being put in an unknown location, that way it couldn't be found as easy. This also gives our Z fighters on Earth some time apiece, but without Goku or myself being home, nobody was slacking off. In fact, it was the exact opposite. Everyone had a goal that they were trying to reach. Raditz, Piccolo, and Tenshinhan and Gohan trained nearly every day. Raditz had a goal to become a Super Saiyan, Gohan had a goal to impress his father and me when we returned, and Tenshinhan had a goal to keep breaking his limits, as Piccolo had the goal to defend Earth in case King Cold finds their location. As for Vegeta, well, he's at Bulma's. But Vegeta wasn't the only one that was staying at Bulma's. Now, when Bulma got back from Namek, Yamcha had actually been at Capsule Corp using the gravity room. But also, he's been working for Dr. Briefs as a custodian or helper while he's on break doing his baseball spring training. This instantly would cause a fuss with Bulma as soon as she arrives back, as her and Yamcha didn't leave off on the best of terms, so Bulma just tries to rub it in. She then invites Vegeta to stay at Capsule Corp as well. This would then start the beginning of a competition to win Bulma over, but overall, the same fate serves as canon, as Yamcha doing his late last rounds of sweeping up the Capsule Corp. He's nearly done when he has one hall left to sweep, before he comes across a door. Not just any door, it was her door. It looked the same, but it had one big difference. It had something hanging on the door, as Yamcha just wasn't sure if Bulma was okay, but once he reached the door, he knew. Bulma had ultimately decided. With a bra hanging on the door, Yamcha emptied the dustpan and went home. And with that covering everyone who is anyone on Earth, let's get into the planet that me and Goku crashed on. Like I said before, Goku and I had just crashed our ship on this random planet. We had no idea where we were, but these several aliens started surrounding us, and I woke up in fighting mode, but I realized where I was. Planet Yardrat. Goku, on the other hand, was introducing himself and talking as if he'd lived here for years. Me and Goku begin to compare notes with the Yardrats, as they then hear that we killed Frieza and his sidekicks, and they immediately sound grateful. In fact, the Yardrats would be so grateful that they would actually take us to their leader, Paibara. And Paibara, after speaking with us, he would actually decide that he would willing to train both me and Goku. The thing was though, we had options of what we wanted to learn. We could either learn instant transmission, gigantification, or spirit vision. And all three I know would be very useful, but I know for a fact Goku is going to master instant transmission. So I'm thinking to myself, what's my best option? To where I actually think that it would be learning something different to help us in the long run. And I do think that I could learn just the basics of instant transmission and just try to learn it later, which is actually what I choose to do. However, the main skill that I'm actually going to be learning is Spirit Vision, as I believe it'll do more of a service than Gigantification, at least in the next arc. But instead of getting into the details of our training, instead, we're just going to see that when the time is right. So with that said, we're going to get into the next arc, the Time Traveler Saga, or known as the Future Trunks Saga. But we can't refer to it as that. That's because Future Trunks isn't the one that returns to the past. Instead, Future Gohan. And for those who are asking, yes, actually Trunks is still alive. It's just Gohan managed to survive the attack from the androids, and Bulma finished the time machine and thought the best idea would be Gohan to travel back since it was her original plan to begin with. However, the future traveler being Gohan wasn't the only change. When future Gohan arrives, he's met by the other Z Warriors, and future Gohan knows hiding his identity wasn't an option, so he simply just tells the entire group what's going to happen in 3 years' time. Future Gohan then states that Frieza's father should be arriving any second now, and like on cue, he does, but to future Gohan's surprise, it's like the Z Fighters already knew, because as soon as King Cold's ship hits the atmosphere, Piccolo, Vegeta, Gohan were all in the air waiting for it to get closer. Future Gohan doesn't question, he just flies up with him, so when Cold actually leaves his ship, he's met by quite the welcoming committee, as then King Cold recognizes Vegeta and starts to talk to him.
Oh dear Prince Vegeta, you must have known where my Frieza has run off to.
Vegeta scuffs.
Aw, nobody told you? Your son was killed by the legendary Super Saiyan.
King Cold laughs it off.
My son, Lord Frieza, killed by a Saiyan? Let alone a Super Saiyan? You've lost your mind if I dare believe a Saiyan has surpassed any member of my family!
Vegeta stares directly at King Cold.
Well now, King, would it help you believe it if you stared in the face of the legendary Super Saiyan himself?
Vegeta then starts to scream as his power is rising faster than ever, and his aura then flashes between purple and yellow until he's then surrounded by a golden aura himself. Vegeta was a Super Saiyan. When he transformed, King Cold stood like he saw a ghost, stuck in place, unable to move, as Vegeta would then dart at the former Emperor of the Universe, making quick work of him. But he wants to drag it out, and for a good reason. I mean, obviously, it happens for good reason. If it wasn't for King Cold, the Saiyans would have never been genocided, and Vegeta would probably be the rightful king of the Saiyans right now. But ultimately, King Cold serves the same fate as he does in canon. He's blasted into dust by Vegeta's new Big Bang attack. Future Gohan, though, couldn't believe his eyes. He's literally seeing Vegeta turn into a Super Saiyan. That never happens in his timeline. If this happened, maybe the androids would have never conquered the world. However, Future Gohan was about to be set for another shock. Something else that wasn't in this timeline, me. Thanks to Goku's instant transmission, we managed to pop up on Earth just as King Cold was defeated, and let me add, Future Gohan wasn't the only one confused. Because when I arrived and I saw Vegeta as a Super Saiyan, Piccolo was as strong as Vegeta, and Future Gohan not only survived, but traveled back in time, my mind is blown. But I quickly knew I had to snap out of it, because obviously these worlds were different. And I mean, I was different. I wasn't who I thought I was, as much as I think I know. There's still so many things that I have no clue of, which leaves me wanting to find answers. Considering that we have 3 years until the androids first show up, I think to myself, what can I do? What can I train and still find these answers? So I come up with something. Dr. Breves, if he still had the blueprints to the gravity ship, I could easily improve that as I find, well, how I'm a Saiyan, and I knew exactly how to do it. Zuno. My only problem was I didn't really know where he was, but after 9 months of not making a wish on the Dragon Balls, it eventually would come around to where I could make a wish on the Dragon Balls, and they'd help me to where I could find the exact pinpoint location in space of where they're at, and it would take about a year for me and whoever goes there to get there. Because I knew going alone wasn't an option, because I knew I had to grow stronger. With Gohan training with both Piccolo and Goku, I knew I had 2 other options, that being the Earthlings or Raditz and Vegeta. And I wasn't sure if me and Vegeta fighting in space with a damaged ship would be the best, so I was kind of leaning towards Raditz. But hearing Zuno would have all the answers, Vegeta questioned me being a Saiyan and how it was even possible. Therefore, the trio of myself, Vegeta, and Raditz all took off for a long space trip. And I'll save you the details because the only thing that happens is we're getting stronger, there's a little bit of bonding, so there's that to look forward to. But we'll skip to when we arrived at Zuno, as I realized I forgot one thing. I don't have an appointment. So I had to think fast as I quickly told Raditz to act like a bad Saiyan that was coming to ambush the planet. Raditz is confused, but I tell him just to go with it, so busting out of the ship, Raditz powers up, blasting the ground surrounding us, and then Raditz screams.
Everyone, get on the ground!
Raditz's Academy Award-winning performance was short-lived when I walked out chopping his neck, knocking him out. This was then just basically all a trick to act like we were protecting Zuno from being attacked. We tell him that Raditz was a Saiyan who rebelled a long time ago, we captured him and we planned on taking him back to the Galactic Patrol. And this worked well enough for at least Zuno to answer one question. So I asked him, how am I a Saiyan? Zuno actually then reveals answers I've been seeking since I first got here in this world.
This, as you know, isn't your world. Your world is stuck in time for as long as you remain in this one. You are the reincarnation of the first Super Saiyan, Yamoshi. After searching for a pure and proper soul, Yamoshi was able to find that in your multiverse. Thus, you are a Saiyan.
I'm what? To be honest, I couldn't believe what I'm hearing. This couldn't be. It made no sense. Why me? Why was I chosen? Although this told me who I was and how I got here, it still didn't tell me why. And that's actually where we're going to be leaving off part 7 of What If Dragonstar Was in Dragon Ball. You guys better smash that like button, and if you do, then I'll be sure to bring you part 8 very, very soon, as well as some other videos. So make sure you sub to the channel and hit that bell icon, that way you can get alerted anytime that I upload, as well as consider joining the Patreon if you want to get videos early. And I highly recommend you guys joining the Discord, as we'll be doing some Discord giveaways, such as some Discord Nitros, custom rolls, $20 DoorDash, you can host a game night, and even some free art commissions. So if that's something that you're interested in, please hop over into the Discord. We'll love to have you over there. We'll love to chat. We'll love to talk. And I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. With that said, Dragonstar Productions is out.